how I brainwashed myself into believing that anything is possible. Now this is sort of a personal story, so I want you to stick around a little bit. I'm gonna be a little bit all over the place. I'm gonna be here and there, and I'll be bringing up my past, remembering a bunch of things, and it is all going to make sense. By the end of the video, it is all going to make sense. So stick up for a while. I'm gonna take a little bit of time to explain my personal story. So this basically starts when I was back in high school, and when I completed my high school, and then COVID hit. So that was at the time of 2020. It was in 2020, back in 2020. And then I was at home. I was at that time playing a bunch of games, and I didn't even have a PC, to be honest. I just had a shit old laptop. It's barely, to be honest, it's inexpensive. It's inexpensive. And I used to play PUBG in that laptop. No, the laptop wasn't capable of even running an emulator. So it was really bad. I used to configure, at that time I was like a tech freak. And so I would just modify all the settings, and I would adjust the graphic settings and going through the config files and doing all of these things. Somebody who's not from a tech background, I would just play around with the settings a lot because I had to optimize it for that specific PC, for that specific laptop, for it to run. Because at the lowest settings, it wouldn't run smoothly. It would just hang all around, it just heat up, and I didn't even have a place to sit down and be like, all right, I have a gaming setup, or I didn't even have a chair at that point. So I would kind of like lean back against the wall, and I would have a pillow on my lap so that the laptop doesn't fry my legs, because it would get incredibly hot. The temperatures would be something around 80, 85, close to almost 90 degrees centigrade. And so I was really a fan of gaming at that time, at the time of COVID. I kind of somehow got decent grades in my 10th grade. And then once I finished it, I was playing games, and it was a COVID time. And I was kind of an isolated kid. So I decided that I'm not going to, at least for a year, because it was kind of a COVID and I was in the mood of gaming, and I was like, oh yeah, let's game. I had a couple of online friends at that time, and so I would talk to them, and we'd be on Discord hanging out and playing, and of course all against my parents' will. They never wanted me to play games, but we kind of had a bit of an issues at that time as well with my parents. But anyways, I would just playing, cutting out somehow, going. Times are passing by, and then all of a sudden I decided that I had to enroll in my 11th grade. So I had to leave, switch places, go around the country. So finally I settled down in a town, and I finally got enrolled in my 11th standard. Now the thing starts. I have a basic phone, an extremely basic phone, inexpensive again. I can't do anything on that phone. I can't watch movies because the contrast is shit. It doesn't look good at all. I couldn't watch anything. I would have to go. My routine was a bit off. Let me just explain this part and stick around for a while. I remember when I was in my 11th grade, I would wake up in the morning, roughly around 6, 7 a.m. I would have to wake up at that time. I didn't have a choice. And I would just get ready and get my breakfast. And I would go to the coaching institute. I was preparing for NEET at that time. So I would go for the coaching institute at around 8 a.m. and then I would have to come back by 12:30 p.m. Once I'm back, and I was living in a dorm, a hostel. Again, inexpensive. There's a reason why I'm mentioning these things, inexpensive. And so I would come back to the hostel, and it's around 12:30 p.m. They rarely get the lunch ready by that time. I would come back, I'd ask the people in charge there, is the food ready? They would say no. I'm like, oh my god, crap, I'm done for. Today is going to be another day when I go empty stomach. I didn't eat, the food's not ready, I'll have to wait at least for half an hour more to have my food. But guess what? I don't have time. Why? Because I need to leave. By 1, I need to leave. I just came back from coaching institute, and I'm dressed like that in the coaching uniform. I came back, I packed my stuff for school, I got my uniform. I was attending school at that time in my 11th grade. I would take roughly 20 minutes to get things sorted out. Food's not ready, I'll have to now go. So I would cycle all the way to school. The school was roughly around 4 kilometers away. So I would have to cycle all the way to 4 kilometers. The difficulty wasn't cycling. The difficulty was I was in a place at that time which was, the weather used to be extremely hot. It was summers. The temperature outside, direct sunlight over my face, around 40 degrees centigrade, 41, 42, sometimes even 43. And I'm cycling. At that time, I didn't have the concept of skincare. I didn't have the concept of, oh, I'm supposed to apply skincare or else I'm gonna tan. And I was at my age where I could develop acne eventually if I don't take care of my skin. And skincare is extremely important. I just didn't have the concept at that time. So I would cycle all the way to school, and it would take me nearly 35-40 minutes of intense cycling while being in the intense sun, sweating all the time. And I hate sweating. I absolutely hate sweating all the time. It gets you dehydrated. Sometimes it's okay, but even in the dorm I used to live in, it's like a small place. If I had to describe it, there's this door. You will enter through the door. I'm describing my room at that time. So you would enter through this door. You have to walk exactly 5 steps. How many steps? 5 to 6 steps. And then you would hit the bed. And the bed is where the wall ends. So that's the entire room. That's basically the entire room. 6 steps in. You have to get inside, you have to walk 6 steps, and then boom, the room ends. It's barely any big. And I was paying a decent amount of rent for that. I just didn't have any knowledge at that time of what kind of place I'm supposed to get, how I'm supposed to negotiate any of these things. I didn't have any knowledge about that, so I just walk in and then boom, I don't even have any place to keep in any of the stuff I have. I rarely had any stuff at that time. And then I'd get ready for my school. I went to the school. It's extremely hot and I don't like it, but I have to cycle anyways. And I don't have food in my stomach. Many of you would think that I could just buy from outside. I didn't have time. My school basically starts from 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And I have left my home by, let's say, 1. 12:30 I come back. I take roughly 20-25 minutes to get ready. And then by 1 I leave. And by 1 I leave, and then from 1 all the way, it takes me roughly about 35-40 minutes to cycle in the heat. And in the middle of that, I don't have cold water. Obviously, I don't have cold water. And of course, I can afford to buy every single day a bottle of cold water for 2 or 3 times or whatever. You might say it's inexpensive, but anyways, that was the condition at that time. And then I would have to cycle. That would take me roughly up to 1:40 p.m. And then I reach school by 2. Didn't have time at that time, like I said. By 2, I'm attending school. By 6:30, I'm done. By 6:30, I cycle back all the way till my hostel. I come back, I reach by 7, and I eat my dinner, and it's already 8. I get fresh, I take a shower. I don't know if I should mention this. I remember the bathroom of those kind of hostels are extremely dirty. They are extremely unhygienic. And every single time I didn't have a choice. I had to go and take a shower without a question. But every time I would go, I would feel like, imagine a situation. Imagine a place in your head where there's this barely big bathroom. You can walk like 15 steps. That's it. And there's a shower that's extremely dirty. It doesn't look good. There's no light bulb. There's absolutely no light bulb for some reason. I don't know. If I would not, it doesn't sound very good, but if I personally would install one, I tried a couple of times, it would just get stolen. Like people would literally steal things. People would steal a light bulb. And I was like, where am I living? what are my conditions? Every time I would go to take a shower, imagine coming back after cycling that much in that kind of heat. Even at night, it was pretty hot, and I wouldn't feel very good. I'm not very happy with my living situations. And I'm definitely not motivated to come back to a hostel, knowing that I have to study hard at night and I can't even take a shower properly. Like all the bathrooms have the same problem, not a single light bulb. I don't know who is stealing and why are you stealing light bulbs? I don't understand why I'm living here. Like, dude, why are you stealing light bulbs that literally cost like 10, 15, or 20 or whatever rupees? Why are you stealing light bulbs? And I would go to school and I would come back with that motivation that I hope my light bulb hasn't been stolen. I'd come back only to be disappointed every single day. I would look at the light bulb and I'm like, boom, the light bulb's gone. And I have to take a shower in dark. I did talk about it to the authority, to the people who are in charge, but no response. That's the country we live in, unfortunately. As long as you don't have money, you're stuck in those kind of situations. And then I would take a shower. The bathroom is extremely dirty. I don't know, for some reason, food's on the floor. Literally, food's on the floor, on the bathroom floor. I need to take a shower. I'm working hard to return back to a kind of a bathroom where there's food lying on the floor. For some reason, sometimes when I went inside the bathroom, there's a freaking cat. There's a freaking cat there. Why is there a cat in a bathroom? I don't understand. And I started questioning my life. I started questioning. It's been months I've been living life like that, where I can't even eat lunch. And I kept telling them to kind of please prepare a little bit early. Nothing's gonna happen if you prepare 20 minutes early. I kept telling, they kept negotiating like, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. Like, making excuses. I don't know why. It happened like that for a couple of days. That part still annoys me. There's like food on the floor. I don't understand why would there be food on the floor of a bathroom floor. Like, that's not where you're supposed to. Forget about it. You're not supposed to even waste food. Never mind. I don't want to get into that. I want to make a video right now. I want to keep you guys entertained with my story. I'm not interested into feeling bad again. So I would come back only to know that my bulb's stolen. I am standing on a floor that's filled with wasted food and probably rotting food. I can't take a shower in peace. And I need to deal with all these things. And I'm questioning, what is my life becoming? Where am I heading to? What is it happening with me? What is happening with me? I'll take a shower. A dirty shower, I guess. And then I would come back to my room and now it's already 8:30. And I'm like, dude, I gotta wake up again tomorrow at 6. And I'm preparing for NEET. NEET is a ridiculously competitive exam. It's 8 o'clock. I mean, all I've been doing in my school and coaching is consuming information. What about repetitions? I need to give in repetitions in order to at least bottle up the information into my head to be able to retrieve it. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock, 8:30. I don't get time for myself at all. I'm not even like, I can just relax for a little bit because I had a big day and I could just lie down, and I can't do things like normal people do. Like, I can just lie down and watch Netflix. I didn't have that kind of privilege. And even if I would be able to watch Netflix, I'm like, what kind of life I'm living in? In this kind of expensive phone with an expensive display, it's ruining the experience. With such a small phone with only like what, 6 inches display, but a ridiculously inexpensive display. The colors are trash. The bezels are imperfect. The brightness is low. The blacks are gray, ridiculously bad ones. And so I started questioning my life, that is this how it's supposed to be? Because whenever you're in the moment, whenever you are in the moment and you're struggling with these things and you're questioning that if things continue like this and I'm not able to eat properly, and even the food I was eating was garbage. Garbage food. It doesn't taste anything. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't taste anything at all. Even my own tongue is like, I'm starting to lose my taste of the food. And no, I didn't have the privilege like, oh, every single day I'm like, order food, order food, order food. And I'm wondering that where's my life heading? Because if we look at it now, from my perspective now, and even I thought at that time, I wasn't that much of a thinker back then. I thought at that time that, all right, where's my life heading? Because I need to attend school and my coaching 6 days a week. Apart from that, I just get a Sunday. And this is my life for 6 days a week. And I'm coming back home, I'm getting free at 8:30. And from 8:30, even if I study for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, by 11 I need to fall asleep because I need to get up tomorrow in the morning. And unfortunately, people don't understand that sleep is an important factor for your information, whatever information you learn and whatever effort you put in. Even when you go to the gym, you break your muscles. You actually tear down your muscles mechanically. Biologically, you tear down your muscles, you do mechanical damage to your muscles, and then at night, sleep is extremely important for your muscles to recover. Sleep is extremely important to strengthen those neural pathways that you use during your training. Sleep is extremely important to consolidate the information that you just learned throughout the day. When you're sleeping, your hippocampus, don't want to go into details, your hippocampus kind of replays all the memories, everything you did throughout the day, the important things that costed you a bunch of effort. And it stores those things slowly over the next weeks and so into your long-term memory. That's how it happens. And if your sleep is terrible, your retrieving research has shown multiple times that your retrieving capacity decreases multiple folds. Your ability to retrieve things, your ability to even store new information and remember and recall, and including your speech clarity, the way you speak things, the way you connect your ideas from your mind, even when you're learning English. Any of these things that you do are heavily affected by sleep. At that time, I did not know this information. I would go and study up until 11:30, and from 11:30 to 1:30, at that time, my sort of consumption was, my mind was like, what I'm going to do watching in this inexpensive phone, which is like complete BS. The speakers are terrible. Like, how I'm supposed to enjoy it? I don't even have a laptop. I don't have a laptop. I don't have a phone, a BS phone. Like, how am I supposed to enjoy my life? There's no enjoyment here. There's none. I can't take out time for myself at all. And so the only thing that I did at that time, watching in a terrible phone, was just watch anime for 1 hour, maybe 60 minutes, watch anime, 2 or 3 episodes. Every episode is like 24 minutes. When you cut down the intro, that's intro and the ending, that's roughly maybe 21 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. So I would watch anime for 1 hour and then I'm up sleeping on that small bed. This is barely anything. And there's no space here to sleep. On top of that, I have just one fan and the weather is extremely hot. There's like bugs coming out from the window inside. I'm like, terrible. This is a terrible place to live in. I am totally done for. What I'm supposed to do? Because now if we look back, I wasn't sleeping very well. On top of that, I would have to do this 6 days a week. 6 freaking days a week. So this is majority of my week. If I'm not able to put in more time, how am I supposed to crack the exam? Or nevertheless, how am I supposed to even graduate? So my life's not getting anywhere. Plus I can't enjoy at all. I'm not able to take out any time for myself. And no, I didn't enjoy at school at all. I didn't have friends. I used to hang out with some people, but that doesn't mean that they're my friends. Honestly, I kind of would not say. I was always isolated. I was always the only kid who is not much. I would say I was interested into making friends maybe at that time, but sort of I didn't get the vibe. People like to hang around with people who enjoy their vibe. You know? You would have friends who have some things in common and you get along, but I just wouldn't get along with people. I don't know why. And so I've been this kind of isolated kid since my high school. Yeah, I've been like that since my childhood. Even when I used to play with the kids and my neighbors, I always felt like that. Always felt left out. always felt like I don't fit in the group, unfortunately. And so I noticed that in my school, and I noticed that this is my life, like what I'm supposed to do. I can't even get out. At this point, I can't even afford a good phone to just enjoy my days. Is this how my life's supposed to be? Because just giving 3 hours a day, managing, plus you get homeworks from school, assignments to do, and a bunch of other things you need to deal with. You're physically exhausted, mentally exhausted from consuming that much information and all the new things that are happening. Plus, sometimes I used to cycle, and because I'm cycling, I would get in trouble. Now, those are like different stories I'm going to cover somewhere else. And all of these things are happening, and my life, I'm asking to myself, like, is this going to be like this? How am I supposed to do anything? My life is not going to progress. And so I would drown in self doubt. Because generally, I don't have anyone I can rely on. If you actually have a bunch of friends who listen to you, if you actually have a bunch of friends who you can get along, you can share things, and they, sometimes they motivate you. They, hey man, it's gonna be okay. Man, it's gonna be okay. Things are gonna pass on. The future is gonna be there. Something's going to happen. But I didn't have that privilege. I didn't have friends. At that time, I would talk to my parents, but even to my parents, I'm like, not much. And so I'm drowning in self doubts, criticizing myself, wondering that if this is ever going to improve. While doing my daily life, I'm like, I'm confused. What I'm supposed to do? I don't know. And so I didn't have anyone to motivate me. I didn't have the mindset at that time that I would be able to motivate myself. And of course, I wasn't born speaking like this. This is one of the attributes I attained over the course of years. Again, I had to do it myself. So I noticed that this was happening. I'm drowning in self-doubt. All of these thoughts are bombarding my head every single day. I'm not eating properly. I'm malnourished. I'm losing weight considerably because I'm burning more calories. You guys know, if you're burning more calories than consuming, you are going to lose weight, like it or not. You just don't have enough calories to sustain your maintenance, to sustain your BMR or whatever. I'm burning more energy than I'm consuming, like what I'm supposed to do. The food's trash as well. And no, every single day I can't buy food from outside. So I'm out of options. And when you don't have money, unfortunately, you have pretty much nothing. You have pretty much nothing. And I'm confused what I'm supposed to do. Self-doubt. And over the course, I then noticed that, all right, this ain't gonna cut it out. And so I continued my life like that over and over and over and over and over again. And I changed a lot of places. Same problem everywhere. No matter where I would change, it's the same problem everywhere because there's only so much you can do with a limited budget. If you do have more budget, then you can think of, all right, I can upgrade my place, I can have certain places, I can live with better people, but none of those were an option for me because I didn't have the budget. So at a similar budget, when you go to similar places, you find similar people and similar kind of environment because it is going to attract those kind of people. I'm not hating on anyone. I'm not saying budget people are bad or something. I'm just saying that below an average budget, if you go to those kind of places, most of the people really don't care. And we are talking about youth here. We're talking about people who are 16 to 18 year old. And we know in our country, people who are generally 16 to 18 year old, especially men, I wouldn't call them men, to be extremely honest. Neither was I at that time. I wasn't a man too. I was just a kid who was trying to figure out his life. But I was confused. Why do I have to deal with these things? Because even the people I was surrounded with, they were kind of not very good. Not, I would call friend-like, or they would be friend-like with their own people. But I never fit in because they like to, for some reason, they just like to curse all the time. I don't like it. I don't like going around cursing at people's back. I don't understand, why do you get dopamine from it? I don't understand, why would you want to go and at somebody's back you would want to curse all the time about them? I don't like my life getting this kind of negativity, this kind of negative energy from people. I don't enjoy it. I don't want to entertain it. I don't want you. I don't want these things. So stop bothering me, is what I said at that time. To all the people who were trying to engage with me with those kind of language, I said, just stop bothering me. Just leave me alone. Just stop bothering me. I'm not interested. I'm just not interested to be with you. Just leave me alone. But no, it didn't end at that. Obviously, life doesn't go that easily, especially when you're in those kind of places. A lot of things happen. That's a different part of the video. But then, this video is getting long. 26 minutes. Anyways, so this is basically what happened. And this is just a fraction, maybe a couple of days of my life, which then continued till months. I didn't know what I would do. I was unsure, like how my life is going to continue like this. And so, how about I end this video on a cliffhanger? I don't know. I was unsure about what I'm going to do about it. And so slowly I switched places, I switched people, but no matter where I would go, it's all the same crap everywhere. It's literally the same crap everywhere. I'm drowning in self-doubt, self-criticism, self-loathing, loathing myself, feeling sorry for myself, feeling bad for myself, just drowning, depressed, not sleeping right, not eating well, don't have money, none of these things. My life is just starting to question the existence of my own life. Why is it's happening like this? Why don't I have anything? And at that time, I wouldn't watch social media. I just wouldn't go on social media like a normal person and would scroll through Instagram or Facebook or any of these things because I didn't have the habit. And for God's sake, I'm glad I didn't have that habit at that time. Because if I would go onto Instagram, I'm telling you this for real, I know myself. If I would go to Instagram and I would see people with cars, with people with enough money, social media money, to have cars, watches, friends, being in fantastic places, being at fantastic places, being able to eat whatever they want, basic needs, having a comfortable room, a comfortable bed, a comfortable pillow, having an air conditioned room, not wanting to deal with heat, not wanting to deal with people all the time, not having difficulties in life, I would go crazy. I'm telling you this because I know I would have gone crazy. I would have literally gone crazy. I would have to probably get myself into psych ward. My psyche would take a major hit. Psychologically, I would be shattered. Because it was enough of a psychological trauma I was dealing with all of these life might going on like this, where I can't do any of the things I said. And I liked, to be really honest, I really liked, before I went to that place, I really liked to play games. Even though my experience was terrible, and I would have to spend hours optimizing my shitty low-end laptop, so that I can play only one off of 1,000 games I used to like. I'll be able to play one fucking game. Why? Because that's the only one that runs on this PC. Or sorry, I should say laptop. That's the only one that runs on this laptop at the most basic level of graphics. And even then I have to make the resolution at the bottomest level and then make it blurry. And then it would run maybe at 40 FPS, 35 FPS. I'm like, I'm not addicted to games. I wasn't addicted to games. I was addicted to escaping the reality I was living in. And to this day, I justify that by saying that, because that's the truth. I wasn't addicted to games because I liked playing games. I had only one game out of the 1,000 games I used to like, which I would only watch through screens because I didn't have a way to play it. Because all I wanted was to immerse myself in an artificial world where I wouldn't have to deal with this reality and toxic people. Psychologically, it was too brutal to deal with these things, knowing that I don't have any of these things, and with the way my life is going on, I can't find a way. I just can't find a way that I'll be able to ever make it out of this. I just can't see it. I'm not able to see any hope, and no one's there to motivate me, and I'm myself in a sort of a mindset, sort of a psyche where I can't motivate myself. Games were merely a way to escape reality, which were psychologically way too brutal to just live like this. I liked immersive experiences where I would immerse myself into an artificial world where I wouldn't have to think about the world. That's what I believe. Even all of the people who are addicted to games, they just don't like their life. People who are addicted to games all the time, they just don't like the life around them. So I was playing games, and I didn't like it. Didn't have a choice at that time. So I was wondering where my life is headed. I can't do this. I possibly can't keep living my life like this because then I'm not able to do anything. And my English at that time was terrible. I remember going to the school and talking to the head principal. And if I would go to the principal, just before going to the principal, I'm shivering. 10 minutes. I would have to wait outside the office for 10-15 minutes and I'm shivering in panic. I'm anxious, I'm sweating, my hands are sweaty, I am shivering. It's like, I don't know how it's gonna happen, like too much anxious, way too much anxious, and I'm overthinking, mentally stimulated and mentally simulating the scenario inside my head, what is going to happen. And then I would go inside and I froze. The head principal was asking me a question. I froze. I would speak, but I remember I would speak with breaking, like I'm breaking literally sentences. I'm barely speaking. So that's a different part of the story. These kind of things would happen. So I'm thinking like, I'm not getting anywhere, man. I'm done for. I'm not getting anywhere. This is 33 minutes. Roughly, I'm taking a lot of time. So I'm going to upload one more video as part 2, where I'll be explaining more, and that is where I'm going to give the payoff. But yeah, certainly today, I build a mindset that allows me to push forward. And people who are following me, they know. They know how I had to battle the things I did. I gave them a little bit of a glimpse of my story. What are the things I battled and how exactly I was able to push through. And I can tell you, I don't just believe, but there's research. There's research and there's statistics showing that people who undergo that condition, people who undergo those conditions, they're depressed and they are anxious and all these things, are life's going downward spiraling. And even with the thing I had, without proper medical intervention, without proper medical professional expertise, without proper medical reasoning, whatever you might call it, without that, there's research and there's papers out there. There's a 4% chance of making it out alive. You might be wondering, what? 4% of what? I'll talk about it later. But that's true. 4% of people who get diagnosed with that come out alive alone. 4%. Fascinating, isn't it? I'm not the most mentally resilient person on the planet. However, I am one of the most capable ones. I'm able to push through very extremely difficult times all alone. I'm going to be continuing this in the next video. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for your time, and hope you enjoyed a little bit of glimpse of my story. We're going to continue it in the part 2. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.